Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania tonight, and I don't put this lightly, was one of his worst ever. Because although he started the first 10 minutes of this rally, 10 minutes, talking about the size of late great golfer Arnold Palmer's junk, yes, talking about his stuff for the first 10 minutes, it wasn't the only notable criminally insane thing that Donald Trump said during this rally. And it was so bad, it was so spectacularly terrible that Fox, yes, the Fox propaganda outlet, stabbed Donald Trump in the back with their coverage in a way that is making him furious. And we are going to get into that in just a second. But before we do, if I could quickly ask that you leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button and join the movement that we are building on this channel. It really goes a long way, and it means the world to me. Now, like I said, Donald Trump's rally an absolute disaster, especially his talk of Arnold Palmer. So before we get into what Fox did to Trump and his angry response, I want to check out Kamala Harris's response to what Donald Trump had to say tonight. The Harris-Walz campaign responded to Donald Trump's statements tonight in a memo reading, "Trump's Pennsylvania closing argument is literal junk." In a Pennsylvania rally speech his campaign team billed as the beginning of his closing argument in the final stretch, Donald Trump focused on the issue most important to voters in this election, a deceased golfer's anatomy. Donald Trump's closing message is to talk about Arnold Palmer's junk. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, focused on the economy, focused on immigration, focused on building a brighter future. And of course, Donald Trump can't say the same. He doesn't even want people to seemingly vote in this election. And you can see that in what he said right here.
Because we want ultimately one-day voting. We want paper ballots. We want voter ID, and we want proof of citizenship. And we're finished. And we'll have quick, fair elections that will cost 8% of the cost of these very beautiful, fancy machines that go up to Mars and around and down and all over the place. You ever see this? Where the machines, we spend all this money on machines, and then they announce, we expect to have the results like 7 days after the election. If you had paper ballots, you get them at 10 o'clock. France went to paper because what we did didn't work. The mail-in ballots didn't work. France had them.
Not only is Donald Trump one of the worst candidates in the history of presidential politics, he is the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics, he's also running one of the worst campaigns. Tonight, he talked about Arnold Palmer's junk, and then he attacked mail-in voting. Could he be running this any worse? No, I don't think so. Disincentivizing people to vote in one of the easiest and most effective ways. Genius. No. Please keep doing it. We love it. Keep messing up your own campaign with the crazy things you say, like you did right here.
We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be conquered. That's what they're doing. This is an invasion into our country of a foreign military. We will be free and proud as a nation again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda once and for all. It will happen. It will happen. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. So early.
It wouldn't be a Donald Trump rally without some angry fear-mongering, because at this point, that is all he can do, and it's all he feels really comfortable with is attack, 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 yell, scream. We saw a little bit of spit flying out. He's really deranged at this point. He can barely talk, and when he can, it's insane statements like this right here.
Gavin Newsom. Did you see the other day he signed a bill that you are not even allowed to ask a person whether or not they have voter ID? If you ask them, it's a criminal penalty. If you say, sir, I'd like to see your voter ID, they want to put you in jail for saying that. We're not going to stand. I'm going to get that thing overturned so fast. He just signed the bill.
That's great. That's heartening. Trump now threatening California again, the entire state, a state that he said, remember that when he said he'd win it if Jesus counted the votes? Yeah, probably not with that attitude, Donald, with it attacking the most populous state in the country over and over again, threatening them, saying that, of course, he said he wouldn't provide them disaster relief. He really can't help himself. He really can't stop himself. And it's very clear to everyone else the problem that is, except for Donald Trump really can't tell that when he opens his mouth, it backfires. But the folks at Fox can. And what was so bad about what they did tonight for Donald Trump is they didn't just cut away from his rally, but it's what they played next that is upsetting him so much.
Oh, but you're talking about a great man. I said, Arnold.
Latrobe, Pennsylvania is an area that Donald Trump won in 2016. He is there holding one of his signature rallies. Kamala Harris, the vice president, has to say.
Moving from Trump's disaster to Kamala Harris, creating the contrast that her campaign so desires and really is doing such a great job creating by Fox. Fox is now helping us out. Probably not. I can't go that far. Kamala Harris is helping herself out by being an incredible candidate and giving an incredible speech in Georgia tonight, but they moved from Trump to Kamala. I think that's a pretty great representation of what we all want to be doing, is tuning into Kamala Harris. And that is driving Donald Trump so crazy, especially with what was said at that rally. And we're going to get into that. But first, I want to hear what Tim Walz had to say tonight, because he's speaking on a subject that is a little sore for Donald Trump. Let's take a look.
But look, we're going everywhere. We're on podcasts, we're on TV, we're doing rallies. The two of us are about one hit away from being regulars on Fox News, and that's hell. So, you know what? It takes a little stamina to run for president. It takes a lot of stamina to be president. So, you might be asking yourself, how in the hell does Donald Trump think he's going to do this? Well, I'm sure his handlers are being pretty clear. They've got him under wraps if you haven't seen this. Look, Donald's stick is old, tired, and divisive, just like him.
The guy is too tired to run a campaign. He's too tired to get through a speech, too tired to get through an interview, too tired to sit down for an interview. And it's either that he's exhausted or he's losing it, and either outcome is bad. So how about we just move on from him and really do him a favor and let him move on? It's elder abuse at this point, making Donald Trump still run. He has lost his mind. He is out of it. But we can move forward. And that's exactly what Kamala Harris was talking about in this speech right here.
And the extraordinary, great Congressman John Lewis reminded us that democracy is not a state, it is an act. It is an act. So Georgia, now is our time to act. The baton is in our hands. Election day is in 17 days and early voting has already started. You guys are setting some records, by the way. And so now is the time to make your plan to vote. Make your plan. Go to iwillvote.com and get all the information you need. And if you have received your ballot in the mail, please do not wait. Fill it out and return it right away. And you know Georgia's own President Jimmy Carter voted early. Bless him. Just days after his 100th birthday. So look, if Jimmy Carter can vote early, you can too. Because, folks, the election is here. It's here. And I need you to continue to do what you do so well. Let's continue to energize. Let's continue to organize. Let's continue to mobilize. And let's remind folks that your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. And so, Georgia, I ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard?
There is a better way forward. It is incredibly clear, the contrast in this campaign, but it's not just a doom and gloom situation. We can't just be talking about the threat to democracy. Kamala Harris is building a positive vision for the future that we can all get behind and get excited about. She started this campaign and has run this campaign as a happy warrior. The positivity that she is bringing isn't just getting Republicans to vote for her. It's not just building a big coalition of voters, but it's uniting America, really. Because if we can actually move forward talking about policy, talking about making things better, we're building coalitions here, coalitions that matter. And I wanted to finish this video off in that positive note with a little bit of fun. And Donald Trump talked about Arnold Palmer a lot tonight, so I figured that we'd hear Arnold Palmer's side of the story. Let's check this out right here. In a book written about Donald Trump's golf game and a section about Arnold Palmer's relationship with the disgraced former president, it is written that Trump used to tell people he and the king were tight. Palmer told golf writer James Dodson it was more like this, with Palmer crossing his hands and putting them on his own throat. Palmer's daughter, Peg, also recalled a moment during the 2016 campaign before Palmer passed away. My dad made a sound of disgust like ugh or ugh, like he couldn't believe the arrogance and crudeness of this man who was the nominee of the political party that he believed in. Then he said, he's not as smart as we thought he was. Well, I don't know how smart anyone could possibly think Donald Trump is, but a pretty damning indictment there from Donald Trump, someone who Donald Trump clearly respects for at least something. We're not going to get into that, but we're going to talk about the important stuff, and we're going to every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.